All right. So I am super excited today to have with me Scott Voelker, who you may know from the Amazing Seller podcast. Scott is a personal friend of mine, and I'll share a little bit more of my story here in a moment, how I know Scott and how Scott has mentored me even before he ever knew who I was. But first off, I just want to say, Scott, thank you for being on Maximizing E-commerce today.
Yeah, no, this is fun because I've seen your story unfold, and didn't really know it was unfolding until you let me know. But now we know your whole story, and I think it'll also be interesting to even let your listeners know exactly how you and I became friends, but then also now having you be part of what we're working on for our live events. So I think it'd be interesting to let people know a little bit about that as we move through this interview.
Absolutely, absolutely. So for those who are listening, are like, who are Kevin and Scott? So just to give a little bit of background, I am now a full-time e-commerce entrepreneur. Used to have a corporate career, thinking I was going to climb up that corporate ladder, and I was working for a buddy of mine's insurance agency. Had a pretty decent job there, and I one day just happened to be looking through, like a lot of people do, iTunes, to see what podcasts were out there. And I saw a podcast called The Amazing Seller, listened to it, and started, as the podcast says, take action. So I was taking action on what I was learning there, and added on products. And this is 2015 when I really started learning. In early 2016, when I got going doing a private label and creating a brand there. And then fast forward to December, I ended up quitting my job. But along the way, I got the chance to meet you, Scott, at
Yes.
um, Seller Summit a couple
Yes.
times, as well as we met at a couple different meetups, one of which was at a Funnel Hacking Live. And the cool thing was we got the chance to actually talk face to face because of going to these live events. And I would attribute a lot of my success, one, listening to your podcasts, because you had a lot of great information, as you still do. But then also meeting people face to face, like yourself and other people that are doing what I'm doing. So meeting people at different levels, ones that were helping to mentor me, is also the people who are about my level that I could share with, and then also realizing as I could help others along the way, it was helping me learn just how far I'd come and giving me more confidence in where I'm going. And then also seeing some of the success of some of those people that I was helping to mentor along the way, some of whom now have skyrocketed past me in what they're doing. But more than anything, it just comes down to, meeting other people. So it's awesome that we've got a chance to meet each other. And then last year, we decided, let's do a live event together, because in my previous life, I was planning events for a Fortune 500 hotel company. And now that I'm no longer there, I still have the skill sets of how to put the pieces of the puzzle together. And so now we're planning Brand Accelerator in September of 2019, which is coming up here in just a few months. So that's exciting stuff.
Yeah, it is. And isn't it funny how one thing leads to the next and to the next and to the next? It's like the minute that you do start taking action, as I always say, and if you're watching this on video, then you can probably see behind me, I've got a couple of reminders here. I've got one above me here, which you can't see. It says take action. It's about a 40 by 30 print canvas. And then behind me, that one there was a Christmas gift from my wife and my kids. That one right there, Kevin, you haven't seen that one. And I actually have to do a little video on that one. That one there was sent to me by a listener that had that handmade over there.
Oh, wow.
So guys, if you're listening, you might want to go check out, Kevin's channel so you can see the video. Hopefully the video came out on this one, Kevin. But yeah, so I really want to just let people know that it's so important that, number one, you take action, even if it's the smallest thing. But the other thing is reaching out to like-minded people and surrounding yourself with those like-minded people, finding a mentor of some kind. And that mentor doesn't have to even be a paid mentor. It could just be someone that you're modeling in your career, right? It's someone that I'm a big fan of, like seeing how something's done and then modeling that. All the way back to my construction days, which we can get in a little bit of my backstory in a minute, but I used to watch other tradesmen or tradesmen do their job. And then I would pick up how to do certain things by watching them do their job, right? So then I could start to learn all different parts of building a home. And that's ultimately what I ended up doing. But a lot of that's me just seeing how things are happening. What worked, what doesn't work, what are they doing good, what are they not doing so good, and making it better. And you've done the same thing, right? Like you've just taken some pieces of information that I might have led you to, but then you took action on those, got a result, sometimes good, sometimes not so good, learned, pivoted, whatever. But I just think it's awesome to see your story unfold. And then really I guess it confirms what I've always said. Like the minute you start doing stuff, you get a result or a thing that happens, and then you have to adjust and react. You know?
That's so true. And it really just comes down to, like you said, just taking action. And it may not work the way you wanted it to in the moment, but if you keep taking little actions, even if it doesn't seem like a huge action, because I sometimes am critical of myself of like, oh, I'm not doing enough. But then I start realizing like, okay, maybe just little drops of action, but over time it does start to fill up that bucket. And I think a lot of people don't give themselves credit, or they're too worried about not taking the right action. So one commentary I hear from people in general is, and doesn't matter if they're just looking to get started, trying to find their first product, or they've been selling now for a while and they're in that game of, hey, I'm on Amazon and maybe I've quit my job or whatever, but I'm so heavily focused on Amazon. How do I go and grow my business? Because let's be honest, the things that worked, well, I guess I would say there's two different types of things that worked back when I first got started. The things that work that will still work today is taking action, following a process, learning from what does and doesn't work. But then there's some things that are a little less strategic, or maybe even some of the strategies, but a lot of tactics have changed. So more than anything, can you just help walk people through what worked back in 2015, 16, 17-ish to today? What is different that you've noticed in seeing the success of, listeners? Because you hear from a lot of different people, and I know that you're trying a lot of things in your own brand.
Yeah. And, just to kind of give a little bit of a backstory, just to kind of give people a little bit about like where I came from, for me to even walk into this e-commerce space kind of happened by accident in a sense, because, I've been dabbling in the online world for over 15 years now, which is kind of crazy to even say that. My wife and I owned a photography business after I got out of the construction business. And then from there, we started to sell some products online, and we started to dabble on eBay. I started to sell, actual CDs to help people with their Photoshop skills, with templates, and I was building those, and then started to see that there was money being, traded back and forth for value and a service, and that really opened my eyes to the online world. Physical products came into the mix when I started to hear the buzz around Amazon, and then them being able to fulfill the items for you, because I did a lot of fulfillment myself. I was selling these projectors that would transfer old 8mm film. And I stumbled on that because I started to transfer film as a service. And I started to see that this machine I purchased was just a modified old projector with a bunch of lens stuff attached to it that I figured out. And I went ahead and I bought one for $1,000. And when I got it, I said, wow, this has just been modified. I think I could modify the same, kind of do the same thing. Went to Home Depot, got some parts, started to modify, bought some lenses, these different magnifications and everything. And from there, I built this thing to do exactly what I needed it to do. So I started to sell them on eBay for $1,000 a piece. Actually, it was about $8.99. And I sold over $100,000 of those things on eBay.
Oh, wow.
Right? But I was packing every single one, shipping every single one. Right. So it was a pain.
Modifying every single one.
Modifying. Yeah. I would try to do 1 or 2 a week. And so then that led me into, well, wait a minute here. There's this Amazon thing. And that Amazon thing is actually allowing them to do all the work. All I got to do is kind of like a digital product, find something that's selling and then put it up there and see if I can sell it. And then if I can just keep, ordering more inventory. Sounds great, right, Kev? Doesn't that sound awesome?
It sounded very attractive to me.
Right. So back in 2015, 2016, that was the model. Go out there and find something that's selling really well. Make a little bit of a better version. So I've even seen people not even make a little bit of a better version, throw it up there and start selling it. And guess what? They sold. okay? Because there wasn't a lot of people doing it, not as many as there are now, all right? So I did that for a little while. Actually, my first year did over $300,000 in basically 2 SKUs, okay? And from there, got excited, but then I also seen the market start to change. And what I mean by that is, here's what happens now. If you follow that same model, you put a garlic press up there on Amazon, okay? You get it selling. You've seen that it was selling 20 a day, right? And you're like, all I got to do is sell 20 per day, get it ranked on Amazon, and life is going to be good. We'll be sitting on the beach and everything will be great. Well, here's what happens now. You go ahead, you launch it. You might be able to get that thing ranking. Let's say you ordered 500 units. You sell out of those 500 before you get the inventory because you sold out so fast. Before you get the next batch of inventory, you got 5 other people that have come on and that are starting to sell that same. In some cases, they've hijacked your listing with another garlic press to basically take the place of yours. All right. That is what's happening now. Okay. So we don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. So what's the better way? Well, it's basically the same thing I've been doing for the past 10 years online. And that is finding a market, finding where they're hanging out, serve them with value. That could be through content. That could be through advice. That could be through products. And then from there, start to communicate with those people. Start to show up on a regular basis. But maybe a Google search. Maybe it's a YouTube search. Maybe it's Instagram. Maybe whatever the channel is, right? So all we're doing now is exactly what I did back in the photography days. I found people that were interested in using Photoshop. They wanted to better their photography skills. So then I would teach them for free. I would teach them, and then I would have some paid stuff on the back end, or maybe some products or some templates. And then I would just sell them if they wanted it. If they didn't, I would still keep showing up. So when they're ready, they would buy. When they're not ready, well, they'll just keep consuming content. But I'm able to stay in front of that market on a regular basis. That is the key now, right? And if you look at the little pie chart, you'll see 5% of your market is probably looking to buy right now. They're putting a search into Amazon, right? Stainless steel garlic press, right? The rest of the 95%, they're not looking for that, but they're still looking for recipes to cook, or maybe they're looking for a way to store their garlic, like whatever, right? We want to show up to those people because they might not be ready for the garlic press right now, or maybe theirs didn't break yet, right? But in 3 months, they might be ready. And once I'm able to communicate, I'm the garlic press guy now. I'm the garlic press expert, right? I know this is a weird example, but you understand what I'm saying, right? We want to stay in front of the market on a regular basis. And then the other thing we want to do is we want to diversify our revenue streams. If you're only selling that one garlic press, we want to be able to get traffic coming in from external sources like Google, like YouTube. And once they start to come over to our blog, our home base, as we call it, I can now start to monetize that with affiliate links, maybe products I don't sell, or maybe I'm never going to sell, or a wholesale deal, a drop shipping if you want to do that, private labeling, you can do that. You can run ads on your site with the impressions that you're getting. So all of this happens when you establish the market, you show up to the market, you get their attention, you deliver value, and then you offer things that they can either buy or consume, period. There's the new model, Kev. Any questions?
Yeah, exactly. So that's all wonderful because, now you're talking more about having traffic, having an audience, having a real brand, because so many of us have gotten caught up in the selling on Amazon and what happens if Amazon shuts down a listing or somebody hijacks it or something. And far too often I've seen people get caught up in the, they have something that's maybe in the kitchen space, and then they roll out something that maybe is in the pet space, and then they try to do a supplement, and then they're just kind of all over the board, and it's hard to get traction on a brand. So for that person who maybe they have a couple successful products on Amazon, and they're like, okay, Scott, I like what you're saying of having a brand, but how do what's that next step that I take? What would you say is like step one?
Yeah, it's funny that you bring that up, because actually at my roundtable at Seller Summit, when I was there, I was running a roundtable. I ran 2 of them. And one guy is very successful, 7-figure seller. And he's selling multiple products in multiple brands.
Right.
Okay? In not even brands, just multiple products, right? In a barrage of different markets, right? So his question was to me, was like, I'm having pretty good success with this, but I am having to liquidate a product and start with a new product. And it's constantly like just throwing new products out there and see what
Right.
right. And he said, what if I don't really want to build a brand? I said, well, okay, you've got an option. If you are doing this and you want to keep sustaining that, right, then you got to keep launching new products. You got to keep staying ahead of that. You got to keep liquidating. It's a process, right? It's going to be a headache, but you can still make some money. Then you better take that money that you're making in that business and you better invest it over here that has nothing to do with this business. Okay. Just take that money and put it over here and invest it in real estate or invest it in a restaurant or invest it in something, because that is going to probably go away. Okay. It's not going to be sustainable. It's not going to be sellable. You're not going to sell that business because it's all over the place. You can't show any track record. You know, you have a product that lasted 9 months and then it fizzled out and then you got to launch another one. So there's no investor is really going to want to buy that, right? The other option is this. Look at all of your SKUs, all of the ones that are performing well, and see which one has the best potential to build a somewhat brand or at least get focused on that market. So that's what I would do. I would try to find the vertical inside of all those products that has the most potential. And what I mean by that is what is the potential for additional products? Because Kevin, I mean, I think you and I would agree. It's easier to sell that customer that just bought the garlic press additional things around the garlic press, right? Maybe it's the cleaner. Maybe it's the case to store it in. Maybe it's the bag to store your garlic, whatever, right? Like, and again, this is a weird example. We can go into the bass fishing market. We can say if someone bought a fishing lure, they might want to buy 5 other ones that are a little bit different, or maybe they're going to want to have a fishing vest, or maybe a net, or maybe whatever, right? So that's what you need to think about. It's going to be so much easier that once someone pulls out their credit card and you go, hey, you just bought the fishing pole. Do you want the fishing reel? Do you want the net? Do you want the 5-pack of lures? It's going to be so much easier because that person's like, you know what? I really do need some extra lures. I want to really try those. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Add it to my order. It's easier than finding a new customer over here for the garlic press and then over here for a fishing lure, right? You got your focus is way, way all over the place, and you have to keep finding new customers. Why not come up with a new product that your old customers could buy or you could launch? Right? So much easier. So I would say to that person, I would encourage you to figure out what market you want to start building a brand in. That's where I would go. If you don't want to do that, take that money and invest it in something over here that does not have anything to do with this business, because this business is just a cash machine right now, right? It's just going to create cash, headaches, cash, in my opinion. I mean, all business is going to have some type of headaches. That one there in particular, to me, would be a harder one to manage personally.
Yeah, I agree. Some people almost are doing almost like a medium to long-term retail arbitrage type thing, where it's just really, instead of, going to Macy's and buying shirts or whatever, they're going to Alibaba and buying a product and then having the mentality that it has a 4 to 6 month shelf life and then just keep going to the next one.
Yeah.
And some people are doing well with that, but that becomes a grind.
Sure.
As opposed to developing a brand and whatnot. So I can vouch, because I've seen a little bit behind the scenes in your new brand, because, of our relationship, as well as, I helped you guys get launched up into to Canada. So I know everything you're saying, whether on your podcast or here, that you've got the blog, you've got the email list, you've got the, various channels that are bringing you traffic. And I know that you guys have those various income streams. And the thing for a lot of people, I think, is like Amazon's a fairly easy roadmap to follow. Okay, so you launch a product, you put a PPC. Some people, they have various tactics of how they launch the product or whatever the case is, but they kind of have developed a roadmap. So it's a much wider net that's being cast in this brand scenario, because Amazon just brings you the traffic. But because you're so dependent on Amazon, if something happens, whether in that space where other people are coming in and selling it, or whatever the case is, Amazon shuts down your listing, or people stop buying fidget spinners, or whatever the case is.
Right.
So if you have your long-term brand,
Mhm.
you know, you're up and going. So what would be the first thing you just say, okay, so I've established the market. So now after I've established the market, to get something, maybe not exactly like what Scott's doing, but what would be like that first step? Like, okay, this would be the high value activity I could do within, you know, a 90-day sprint or something like that.
Yeah, I love that. So it's funny because myself and Mike Jack Ness had a conversation. Who he just, by the way, if your listeners aren't familiar with him, just exited one of his brands for a 7-figure number, and that was all based off of what we're talking about right here, not just building a product that you sell on Amazon. But we had a conversation about starting another project, okay, for him, and this is what it looked like. Okay, number one, go into a market that you have some interest in. Okay. It's going to be so much easier to show up if you have some interest in that market. You don't have to, but it makes it a lot easier. Okay. Because then when you do the next step, which is you've established the market and hopefully you've sub-niched it down a little bit, right? So again, if we're talking weight loss, then we can say weight loss for men over 40, right? We just niched it down. And maybe it's weight loss for men over 40 keto, right? We've niched it down even further, right? So if you can do that and show up, and then the next part is to start producing content, right? And the reason why people don't want to hear that is because it requires work. And it's going to take a little bit more of the long tail in order to actually start to see some results. Everyone thinks that you're just going to launch a product on Amazon and all of a sudden the money's going to start rolling in. But what the truth of that is generally on your first, maybe even second batch of inventory, it's basically hopefully a break even, right? Because what you're doing is you're really using those first batches to start to get yourself ranking and get the algorithm knowing your product and your sales velocity and all that. So usually you're overspending on pay-per-click. If you have a list that you're building, you're spending money on the list. Or if you're using a service, which I don't recommend, you're going to spend money there. You're going to have to reduce your price, like all that stuff. So really, you're still spending money and not seeing a profit yet. Okay. So for me, what I would do is and this is what we were talking about, Mike and myself at dinner, was we'd build the content out for at least 3 months straight. And here's the big tip. Do it consistently. Okay. Don't just put up 3 pieces of content and go, oh, let Google find it. They're going to send me a whole bunch of traffic. No, it's going out there and showing up on a regular basis. I had a guy on my podcast who took this advice because he didn't want to launch a product yet, because he didn't want to go and invest in a product, wasn't sure of the product, but he didn't want to wait. So he took the advice of, let me just show up once per week, shoot a video on YouTube, and I will document the process of me distilling alcohol, right? So basically he was looking at creating almost like a home brew, right? And educating himself through that process. Because a lot of people think they need to be an expert. No, this guy was like, hi, my name is John, and I'm starting to learn how to distill alcohol. If you want to come along this journey, every week I'm going to check back in and let you know what I've learned, show you the batches, show you what I like, what I don't like, the different accessories. If you want to, subscribe to the channel. That's it. So for the next 52 weeks, he did not miss a week. There's the key ingredient there. Do not miss the week. All right. I've done 674-ish podcast episodes for the past 4 years. I've never missed one, Kevin. The only time it's ever not been published is when Libsyn, my host, decided to not publish it, and it took 2 days to get there. But it was scheduled and it was batched. I have not missed an episode. All right. 3 a week. Okay. Consistency. Okay. You need to go and show up every single week, every single day with something. You can't just plan it and think about it. So that's a huge one. So what he did that for 52 weeks. After 52 weeks, he looked and he's like, I've got 15,000 subscribers now. I'm making $1,000 a month on ad money from YouTube. Okay. That didn't just happen by accident, but he put in the work. And now he could launch some products around distilling alcohol, or he has affiliate revenue coming in from different parts that he's not even sourcing at this place, right? So know your market, create content that's helpful, that's useful, show up, be authentic, communicate with them at least once a week, and then let the market tell you what to sell them. Like it's literally, that's the simple formula. And that's what I would do. I would just show up and produce content on a regular basis. I produced 56 episodes for my podcast before I made 1 penny. 56. Okay. And so how many people are going to do 56 1 hour plus episodes, publish them and not see anything and keep going? Right? Not a lot. They want to go, oh, well, I'll give it 5 episodes. And if I don't start, then they start hitting them with offers. Then you start losing credibility with your audience. Audiences like, they're just trying to sell all the time. Right? I've done this in the photography space. Same thing. It's how I built that to a multi 6-figure business. Right? Like, so it just comes down to serving the market, Kev. It really does. Can I call you Kev on air? Is that good? I mean, I know
that's okay.
Is Kev good? I mean, you're Kev to me.
I've been called Kev many times in my life. So.
Come on, Kev. Right?
Right. I've gotten used to it. That's totally fine.
All right. It won't say Kev on your name badge. It'll say Kevin, but Scott will call him Kev.
There you go. There you go. All right. So anyway, so I think in the e-commerce space, we've got people with varying levels of comfort with getting on camera. I think some people, they don't want to put themselves out there. So they get into selling in Amazon because of the feeling like, oh, I just write copy or whatever and take pictures and throw the product up and I don't have to worry about it. And then there's some people that are comfortable with that. So some people are going to say, that's a great idea. I'm going to jump right on that. And then other people are going to say, well, I don't know if I want to do that. So for those people that don't want to create their own content, what would you suggest that they could do? Because that might be a mental roadblock of like creating a brand.
Okay. I got a very simple solution. And what you're basically describing is someone that wants to hide behind the keyboard. They don't want to be out there. They just want to hide behind the keyboard. And that's fine. I have a video. I haven't published it yet. I probably should. It's on like DVD. I got to basically get it transferred over to my, to a file that I can share. But basically I tried shooting a video for my photography business years ago. And I'll tell you what, it was terrible, right? It was terrible, but I got better because I practiced. All right. I just kept showing up and trying. But here's what I would say to start with. Written content is going to be really, really powerful because even if we shoot a video, we want to still create a blog post about that video because Google likes written word, right? They index it, they scrape it, and then they index it when people are looking for something will show up. So I say write about the solution or the thing that you want to share. You don't have to get on video. The other way you can do it too is do that and then take that same content, create some bullet points, maybe some imagery, maybe take some images from stock photos or whatever, right? That have royalty-free rights and stuff, and put together a little slide deck on Keynote or PowerPoint, or maybe it's a Google Drive, like whatever, right? Create a little slideshow and then just voice it, right? Get behind the computer. You don't have to show your face. And then you can just, fire up ScreenFlow or Camtasia, like whatever one, and do a screencast video, right? And then just read what's on there, bullet points, talk a little bit about it, and then publish that, right? Take the information and just make it more visual, but you don't have to get on camera, right? And then we can have an asset that resides over on YouTube. We can have an asset that resides on our blog, and then we can also embed that video on our blog, that's kind of like the trifecta effect of doing that. I like personally is by taking that and distributing it in those two places, but then cross-referencing those, and you kind of get that cross-linking stuff, which is a whole SEO, search engine optimization thing we don't have to talk about. But if you just did that, you're creating one piece of content, but you're distributing it on 2 different platforms. So it gives you more chances of being found.
Exactly. And that's the key point. Like, so for example, for this podcast, this is going up on YouTube and it's going up on the podcast as well. So it's people can consume this in 2 different formats. And then we've got someone that's creating show notes that it can be available for Google to index the notes as well. So it's also available on the website. So that all makes sense to me. Now, I was talking to somebody at Seller Summit who she was saying, well, I tried this blogging thing, but it didn't work. And I think some of that is because for those of us who have been so ingrained in selling on Amazon, I remember the first time I sent inventory, I literally made a sale the first day something arrived. And it was, something I did on retail arbitrage.
Right.
So even for people that have never done retail arbitrage, maybe they've been doing private label, relatively quickly, you get that little high of like, oh my gosh, I made a sale. So you feel like there's some level of success. Whereas I know from my own personal experience, when you do blogging or YouTube, it's a little bit more of a grind to get there. So just to help people with reasonable expectations, for those that are maybe showing up week after week, and then they're like 2 months into it and they're like, I'm not getting the traction I was hoping for.
Yeah.
Can you give a little bit of encouragement of what that looks like down the road, and how would that, what I guess what would be a reasonable expectation?
Well, again, I mean, you're looking at like a money reward, and then you're looking at like a traffic reward, right? Like so I look at it like, well, if we can start to get traffic, that's kind of a reward in itself. You're like, oh, people are actually paying attention, right? Like, oh my gosh, like, there's actually 5 people that landed on my blog today and they read something, right? They might not have bought something, but they showed up. So I think you got to look at it that way too. I would have liked to have had the conversation with the woman that you had talked to and ask some more questions that would allow me to see like what you really did. Okay. When did you give up? And why do you think it didn't work? And because again, you took action. That's amazing. But now let's look at the results. Like, why didn't it work? Did you only put out 3 blog posts, or did you put out three months worth of blog posts every single week? Okay. But there's some ways that you can get some wins and some sense of gratification by getting people on an email list, which is very easy to do nowadays. Right. And then from there, we can let those people know that have raised their hand. Hey, we just posted something over here on YouTube. Hey, we just posted something over here on the blog. And then you lead them over there. Right. So let's say, for example, you're selling in the bass fishing world and you have 5 tips that are going to help people catch more bass, right? And so you create the blog post, you put it on there. You shoot a quick video, whether it's on camera or off camera, doesn't matter. You post that on YouTube. You embed that video over on the blog. Now you got those resources, those assets sitting there. Well, now what if we have an email list of 500 people or 1,000 people, okay? And then we send out an email, go, hey, just want to let you know, I just published a new blog post on 5 tips to catch more bass this weekend. You should go check it out. That's it. Now you're going to have those people, not all of them, that are going to go over to the content that you just created. You instantly have eyeballs, right? So there's something there that you are going to get that gratification because someone's going to reach out to you and go, hey, Kevin, thank you so much for posting that. I got to be honest with you. I just used one of those tips last weekend with my son. I caught the biggest bass in my life. Here's a picture of it. Then guess what? You have that 2-way conversation, right? So now you're getting the adrenaline in a sense, that little bit of a rush that you're like, wow, I'm actually doing something and it's getting some traction, right? But now the cool thing is when you're leading people over to your content, you can almost sell in your blog post or your video without even selling. And what I mean by that is as I'm telling them 5 tips to catch more bass, inside of there's probably lures that I don't sell that I'm referencing to. There's a fishing pole, there's fishing line, there's a kayak, there's oars, there's a fishing net, right? Every time I mention something that could be a potential product that I could be an affiliate for through Amazon, hyperlink it, put the link over to your affiliate store. That's it, right? There's a good chance people are going to click through on some of those because I know I've done it. I'm like, oh yeah, click on that. I want to see what that product is about. I want to read the reviews on that one. And I go over there. It takes me to Amazon. When I go to Amazon, I'm cookied now for 24 hours. And anyone that's listening that doesn't know what that means, it just means that I'm tracked for 24 hours through that person's affiliate link. And I will get credit for a sale or anything that's in their cart. So think about that. I created 5 tips to catch more bass. I published it on the blog. I published it on YouTube. I send my email list over to a blog post, which has affiliate links in it. I don't even sell a product yet, maybe. There's a good chance that eventually I'm going to start making some little bit of money, right? A couple of sales through people just being curious, going through that post and clicking over. It's literally that simple. So I say do that, right? And if you have a product, you can always wrap that in around your content too, right? Maybe you sell the 5 lures that you're giving a tip on. Oh, guys, if you want to, you can check out my lures for this week. I'm giving 25% off for this weekend. It's bass fishing week, right? And then you just give that and do a flash sale. 3 emails. Here's the deal. The next email is, here's a reminder of the deal. It's going to be ending tomorrow. And then the last one is, hey, last day to get your lures at 25% off, right? So again, there's ways to do it. You just need those different assets and those resources to allow you to get the traffic out of the gate. And that's pretty much the simplified version.
And that all makes sense because, and what I could add to that is, you're talking about adding in links to Amazon Associates. And the nice thing about that is now you're getting data on what your customers are buying. So if you're selling fishing lures and maybe they really seem to want a tackle box and they seem to all really like purple tackle boxes, but you never would have thought people would buy a purple tackle box. Now you can say, okay, that might be a product that I pursue. And another thing I think that's also encouraging for people to know is that we often get too caught up in looking at other people's after pictures. And we don't know the before and all the work that went into it. And you had shared a slide in your presentation at Seller Summit of someone who has a blog, and she's getting, I believe it was 1 million unique visitors a month now. Which is crazy. I mean, that puts her on like par to be probably one of the most visited websites in the world.
It's the second highest in her niche, which is travel. So yeah, she's crushing it.
She's totally crushing it. And you had shown a screenshot that she must have given you from her Google Analytics, I think it was, which shows visitors. So of course, when you look at the graph, it was like tons of visitors like now, but then you compare it and it was like basically like you go back to whenever she started
about 5 years ago.
Yeah, about 5 years ago. For the first 9 months to a year, that graph was about even with like the line that's 0.
Right.
So it looked like she was not even registering. It's like when you drive a car, it doesn't even register speed.
Right.
Because maybe you're just like inching forward.
Right.
But, sometimes we forget that, maybe in a car you're inching forward, but you don't worry about the fact that when you get on the highway, that car is going to go faster. If you need to go 80 miles an hour, it'll go 80 miles an hour. It's kind of the same way, except it takes a little longer. But if you keep believing in the process, you're going to get there and you're going to start getting more traffic. So I've realized I don't really like writing that much. Right. But I hired someone to write blog posts for me. And now it's just showing up consistently, putting it out there and starting to see it trickle a little bit. But I'm believing in the process because I know down the road, and I've seen enough behind the scenes from you and from others to know that there's, a great opportunity there. So, in addition to, having this blog where you have people on an email list so you can control where you point traffic, what are some other ways that you could monetize this other than just physical products?
Well, you can create digital products. A lot of people don't think of digital products. They just think like, well, I'm just a physical product creator. Again, if I'm a bass fisherman and I have 5 tips to catch more bass, I could probably come up with 99 tips, right? And 99 tips could turn into a $4.99 ebook. Right. And then from there, that can lead me over to maybe another digital item. Maybe it's a companion, or maybe it's a video series that I'm going to sell them for $29. Right. And then from there, I could sell them a physical product. I could sell them my package of lures. Right. And we've done this in our brand that we've been building I'm a partner in it. And we generated over $2,000 in our first month of testing this. And it was simply by taking a digital guide for $4.99 and then doing an upsell on the back end, which was really just a bump. We call that an order bump. And that was for $9.99. It was just more information about what was in the main guide. And then the last part of it was a bundle, a physical product bundle that was, related to obviously what they're buying through the digital side. You can also take that digital guide and you can put it up on Kindle. If you put it up on Kindle, again, owned by Amazon, now you can all of a sudden start getting sales and also get qualified leads that can then be introduced to your business. Because if someone bought my book on Kindle, it would be like the ultimate guide to winning your next bass tournament, right? and then they buy this thing. I know that they're into bass fishing. I know because they bought my book that's all about bass fishing. And inside of there, it's like, hey, for more resources, go to, the ultimatebassfishing.com/bonus. And then they can go there and get some bonus material. And that bonus material would probably lead them to an email opt-in, which would build my list. But then also I've got someone that's qualified as my market, right? And you can make money. I mean, I was in the photography space. We had 3 ebooks that we created from content that we had published on our blog. So we took our blog content and then just distilled it all down and made it more concise, made it prettier, right? And we made a guide out of it. And we were selling that, Kev. I don't even know if I told you that, but we were selling those 3. And my wife and I, we were selling about $1,200 to $1,500 alone with just that per month.
Oh, wow.
And that also brought people into our digital products world of photography templates and membership site that we had and all that stuff. So it was a good lead source, but it also was a front end offer that made us money. It was paying our mortgage for for probably 2 years, right? But so that's a digital item. A lot of people don't look at digital items. There's also a site out there called ClickBank. It's a site that allows you to connect with other digital products or product owners. And then you can promote them, okay? And they'll generally pay you between 25 and 75% of the first sale. So if they're selling a $49 course, you get 50% of that, right? So you're going to make over $24 for just referring people to there. So it's a digital course, right? So there's a lot of different ways you can do it, even if you don't have the physical product because a lot of people get strapped for cash. Inventory in a physical product business is it's crazy, right? Like the more you grow, the more you have to understand cash flow. You have to understand inventory planning and all of that. So that's why I like to have a hybrid. I like to have something that's running. Like right now, I haven't looked, but right now we have traffic coming into a blog. It's converting just from the impressions from ads that we have on there. And we're getting paid over $80 to $100 per day just from that traffic, not delivering a darn thing other than people showing up on the blog, right? So I like to have different ways to diversify the revenue stream anyway. So why not start there? Or if you have one product, start, obviously keep your product, but you want to be building these other things in the background because those are going to start to really add, to your business and to be able to diversify it.
Yeah. And that's the thing is that the more we can diversify our revenue streams, the better off we're going to be because we never know where the future is going to take us.
No.
And we're basically creating an insurance policy on our future by having different revenue streams. I used to look at it that way when I had a job and I went into e-commerce, that now I'm creating another revenue stream. So now that I'm full-time in e-commerce, now I'm looking for other revenue streams, both for my e-commerce business and, just in general, what else can I do to increase things? So one of the things I found that was so successful for me in e-commerce was because I was, surrounded by people in the hotel world or in the insurance world, depending on what stage of my career I was in when I had a full-time corporate job. But now that I'm in e-commerce, I've done a good job surrounding myself with other e-commerce folks. Now, what would you suggest to people that maybe they are very Amazon focused and they made a lot of friends in the Amazon world? How do they start finding other people that understand this world of creating a brand in the way that you're describing?
It's funny because, when I first started in this, e-commerce Amazon world, I was even saying I'm building an Amazon business, but we're not building an Amazon business. We're building an e-commerce business, or you can just say that you're building an online business. Because if you're building an e-commerce, some would argue and say, well, that's a physical product business. Some people would say, no, it doesn't have to be. It can just be, you're just, you're having transactions happening online, right? But I really say that we are building online businesses. If you want to say you're building an e-commerce business, I'm okay with that. But do not say that you're building an Amazon business, please. It just sounds bad, right? It means that you're going to build a house over there, and the landowner can come in and say at any time, sorry, we don't like the way that your house looks. You need to take it somewhere else. And you're like, well, wait a minute. I got my footings in here. I got my foundation. I'm all good. Sorry. get it out of here. Or sometimes be like, sorry, you got to leave it. You got to leave though, right? Because that inventory or even that listing, you're creating it on their platform. They own that listing. You can't take that listing off. It's there in their catalog now. They've created it for you. So I would just say get in the mindset that you're not building an Amazon business, please. Okay, correct that. So you need to surround yourself with other people that are doing online business. You can do local meetups. Okay, look for a local meetup. You can start your own local meetup if you just want to hang out with other entrepreneurs. Just look at meetup.com. There's other ones around, I'm sure, that you can find that are not just focused on Amazon. So we have our own event now, which is Brand Accelerator Live, which is going to be in September. So depending on when you're listening to this, brandacceleratorlive.com. That's how you put a little shameless plug in there too, Kev. Throw that in there. So it's, I'm really excited about it. I'm proud of it. I know that, we have a great lineup, but it comes down to having the mindset that you're not building just that Amazon focused business, and you need to learn marketing. You need to learn traffic. You need to learn content creation. That's all part of building the online business. And if you learn those skill sets, I will tell you this, because it's worked for me very, very well. You're going to take that skill set and you'll probably plug it into something else 3 years from now, 5 years from now. Other opportunities may come your way that you want to pursue. These skill sets that you're building, they are forever. They're evergreen. You're always going to be able to serve a market as long as you know how to identify one. And then from there, you're always going to be able to get the attention various ways. And then after you show up and you give value, people get to know, like, and trust you. People will want to buy, right? And some will, some won't, but some will. Enough for you to run a business. And that's it in a nutshell. So find other events or other meetups that are not just focused on Amazon, but are actually focused on online business or marketing, and learning the ins and outs of traffic and content creation. And I think, and list building, I would say that kind of goes with getting your attention in the market. But that would be it. Like, if you learn that stuff, I'm telling you right now, you'll take it a lot further in whatever else you do next.
Very true. And that's a good point, because those are skills that once you have a skill, it's with you forever. So for example, and for anyone that missed this in the beginning, I'm working with you to plan the details on Brand Accelerator Live, because I worked in the hotel business and I learned those skills of how to put a conference together. And that's something that no one can ever take away from me. So even though I no longer work in the hotel business, I still have that skill. And so to your point, like, as you learn marketing and things of that nature, that never goes away. Maybe the tactics, the channels will change.
Right.
But all in all, it's going to still be a valuable skill. So just to kind of close this out, do you have any closing thoughts or advice that you'd like to pass on to the viewers and listeners?
Yeah, just, stop chasing shiny objects. Okay. I know it's hard. I do, like to look over there, and then I got to get back over here because things look attractive, right? They, the next hack, the next tactic, right? But I will tell you this, hacks or, even tactics, they will change. Okay. And like you just said too, Kev, it's like channels will change. Okay. But the one thing that won't change is identifying a market, what they want, what they need, showing up to give them value so you can build that relationship, the know, like, and trust factor, and then know how to make offers. And I mean, not just make offers like go buy my stuff, make offers of, hey, you should go check this thing out because it will help you catch more bass, right? That's an offer. Hey, go download our 5 steps to, win your next bass tournament guide. That's an offer, right? It doesn't have to be just a paid offer. It just means an offer that will allow them to engage or to consume a little bit more of your material or your brand. So just really, really understand that and focus on that. And if you do that, I'm telling you right now, you can't lose. Like, you can't. And your competition that is only building an Amazon focused business, you will be able to crush them. Like, and I know that firsthand. Like I said, and you kind of mentioned her, Alex from the travel space. You know, she launched a product before she pre-launched, meaning she took pre-orders on a product that she thought about selling, but she wasn't sure if she was going to. And she sold $17,000 worth in less than 10 days through doing a Facebook Live to let her audience know that she was going to do this. And how did she identify this, you might ask, Kev? Well,
how does she identify this?
She looked at her affiliate income report and she seen that those items were selling the most, and she thought she could make a better version. Boom, done, game over. So everything we just talked about, it's real, it works, it happens every single day. And there's more people like Alex that has a blog with traffic or a YouTube channel with traffic that has the ability to launch products, and they have a huge advantage over someone that's just launching a product on Amazon. And that would be my last little bit of advice there. Just follow that as your guideline and as your model.
Well, that's great advice there, Scott. So for anyone that wants to check out more of what you've got to offer, connect with you in some way, where would they find you?
Well, the easiest way is you can go, if you're a podcast listener, which you probably are if you're listening to this, you can go to iTunes and search for the Amazing Seller podcast. You'll find it there. We have over 670 episodes currently right now. A lot of people ask too, like, where should I start? There's a little start here button on the top of our blog. You can go there. It'll give you the most up-to-date, strategies and stuff. If you go back to all the way to episode 1, some stuff's going to be outdated. So I would say, go to the start here page. And then other than that, if you want to hang out with like-minded people like myself and Kevin, you probably want to go and grab a ticket at Brand Accelerator Live. And that's brandacceleratorlive.com. And it's going to be awesome. That's going to be a smaller event. I mean, smaller. It's not going to be an event that has thousands of people there. It's smaller. It's intimate. And we do that for a reason. And we are going to be working on building a brand, how to get attention, how to get traffic, how to convert that from just someone that's looking at your information to actually buying something, and how to do it in an ethical, honest, transparent way. So brandacceleratorlive.com is where you can find those tickets, and you can hang out with myself and Kevin, which would be pretty awesome. So that's what I got there, Kev.
Well, good deal. I really appreciate that. I'll make sure that we link to that in the show notes. And if anyone's watching on YouTube, it'll be in the description as well. So, Scott, thank you so much for coming on, providing a ton of value. I hope that people listening to this don't just listen to it and say, that sounds great, that I hope they do what?
They take some action. That's right.
All right. Good deal. Well, thank you so much for coming on today, Scott. This has been great. And I hope everyone listening has gotten a lot out of it.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me, Kev.
Good deal. Awesome. Thanks, Scott. Take care.